I have access to a lot of off-market deals, a lot of deals that are on market, but my things are kind of more direct. So we've got new development deals and they're direct to developers. And I have a lot of off-market assets, so things that you wouldn't know about or get access to unless you knew who to contact or who to speak to.
Hi, so I'm Victoria Beale from Elite Crowd Makers, and this is the Business Growth Crowd Show. And I'm delighted to welcome a very special guest who's travelled all the way from Leeds. She's also a fellow mother like myself, so she has her commitments. Afrisha Baker, welcome to Milton Keynes, and thank you for coming today.
Thank you so much for having me. The event today has been amazing as always. The turnout, again, amazing as always. One thing about Victoria is that she does get the rooms full. There are bums on seats and they're not just regular bums. This is three-ply toilet paper bums. Yeah.
What a lovely way to put it. She talks my language. There we go. That's what she's been hanging around me too long. So, Afrisha, it'd be really interesting to know your journey and what you're actually doing now, because, you know, you are very young still and you're a bit of a success story. So why don't you tell us?
Oh, gosh. Do we go all the way back? I think I'll start from the beginning, as all good books do. I fell in love with property through an apprenticeship that I began at 15. And it's just been one of those things where I just kind of knew that this thing was for me. It doesn't matter how much times I tried to leave it. It always did a full circle. There's always something that came back and reminded me that property is your thing. So it's one of those moments where you sit there and ask God, okay, what next? What do I do now? And he keeps showing you the signs and you kind of been ignoring them until he literally drops a big house in front of you and just be like, this, all signs are pointing to this thing. So property for me is my thing. It's my core interest, really and truly. So yeah, that's how I began in property. And it was just a little letting agency and a guy who owned some properties at the time. And he decided to grow his business by then renting out friends of his homes and assets and things like that for when they were away. And then it's grown from there into his letting agency. And because I had the opportunity to work with him directly through the apprenticeship, it was almost like a mentorship that paid me for learning. And I really appreciated that. Yeah, I was on maybe £3 something an hour, but at the same time, the lessons that I learned were invaluable. So that's how I began in property. And then from there, I actually left. I went into network marketing events. And ended up in a few MLM companies because my situation at the time, I didn't come from wealth, didn't come from money. And I was just looking for ways where I can make some money for myself, something that I can help my mom with, because my mom is a single mother, raised us 3. We immigrated here when she was heavily pregnant with my younger brother.
Right.
So I was kind of the default dad, if you will. So I had to help her, support her with things that she didn't quite understand. She only had basic level education. She never got to go to secondary school, college or anything like that. She did try a few things when she got here, but again, with having kids, it's really difficult, really hard, and especially if you're not growing up in that culture where things are more cleanly put, it's kind of hard to then prioritize your own personal elevation over your kids. So she really poured into us, and my whole thing was just to make her proud by doing the best that I can with whatever I was giving and whatever opportunity I was given. So in network marketing, my whole why was for my mom, and to try and make her proud and maybe have her experience some comfort as well, because growing up where she grew up, we didn't have that level of comfort. We got a plyboard house, bags and bundles of clothes that we slept on because she couldn't afford bed or bed frames or anything like that. But the plyboard house, it kept a roof over our heads, and I have to admit, it is one of the happiest memories. It sounds really cliche, but as a kid, it would be one of your happiest memories because you don't have anything else to worry about.
That's right.
We had somewhere to sleep. We had food to eat.
Yeah.
There's fruit on the trees outside. We ran around barefoot. My sister was interested in staring at leaves, and I was just running around pretending to be fairies and stuff like that. You had land and things like that. The sun's always warm and there's always family around.
I was going to say, it's a lot of love for the
so it's a lot of love, and it supported us to a level. But whatever struggles my mom was going through, we didn't experience any of that until maybe we got here. And it was a little bit harder because no fruits grew on the trees, and that's the first thing that I noticed when I came to England. Is like, you have so many trees and none of them provided food. So what would you do if you were hungry? And up here, if you don't have money to buy food, it's no handouts, especially if you immigrate here. So it was really tough for her for a while because she didn't have any bearings as yet. I was translating everything to people from her to them, and I was translating I guess bigger wording or words that she's not familiar with to her. So my biggest why was my mom, because I wanted her to experience the comfort that I know this world provides, this area provides, this country provides. And I realized that for the longest time, that was for like maybe 3-4 years, and for the longest time I realized I was going about it all wrong, because in trying to having my mother as my why, I neglected what I needed to feel fulfillment or purpose about, which is dangerous because you're more prone to giving up then, and you start feeling all the pressure and it's all for everybody else, and then you start kind of resenting not being born rich, not being afforded a life of comfortability, and you start complaining as to why am I doing this when I'm working upwards instead of downwards. And I kind of had that level of resentment after a while because it was frustrating and it was really hard, and I was young and I had so much responsibility. After a while it starts to collapse, and you have to realize that your why has to start with you. And it's not being selfish, it's just it's foundation. That's what it is, and without foundation you can't build,
and then you can't help others anyway.
Exactly. So I was so busy helping other people, trying to give them my last, that I realized that, well, if the well runs dry or the last piece of bread is eaten, then what will they do? They would still suffer, and you basically expire at the expense of that, and then you've still not succeeded. You'd have unfinished business. And one of my biggest regrets is, well, not regrets, one of my biggest fears, I'd say, is to have that unfinished business. I was reading a book, I can't remember which book it was, but it said that 99% of the best ideas are in the graveyard, or 99% of the best minds and stories are in the graveyard. So much potential lives in the graveyard, or dies, should I say, in the graveyard, because it's untapped potential. And I didn't want that story to be mine. So from since then I've always had that mentality to go further. And with an MLM company, I don't advise you guys go out and join an MLM company. They are not for your benefit, they're for the company's benefit. However, you do learn a lot from an MLM company in terms of networking, in terms of defining what your why is, your reason, your purpose, honing your skills in networking, building that courage to go out and just talk to people, because it's not easy. And I've always thought, like, well, why is it not? I don't understand why people find it so hard, and it actually can be a bit scary, a bit daunting, especially standing up and telling people all your business, because I've been raised against that. You don't tell people your business.
No. That's actually quite a good thing, though, in some respects.
Yeah, you don't tell people your business. You don't tell them when you're suffering. You don't tell them anything like that. And it's good and bad. In the case of, I could have been having several mental episodes where I'm breaking down internally, and I would just smile every day, like everything would be perfect.
Masking.
Yeah, exactly. Mask very heavily. For my first year of college, before I dropped out, I had to walk to college every day because my mom didn't have the money to send me on the bus. So I didn't have any money in college. You don't get bursary funds if you don't apply or qualify for it. So I was walking to school in the morning, and then I would not eat anything at lunch, or I would have to carry something that I might have made at home. And instead of having it for breakfast, that was what I would eat then for lunch. And then I'd walk back from college home. So learning what I learned in school was kind of hard. It was difficult because I'd have to try and memorize everything. But I got so used to the hunger,
hardship,
and it was filled with a different kind of hunger. And I was persevering from a different kind of I guess,
perspective.
Yeah. So at that point, it was like, I just need to do good in college. Once I graduate college, then I have to go to university, do good there, and then I get a really good job. So I really wanted to be a barrister because barristers get paid really well.
So,
and I was chasing careers that paid really well because I was trying to dig myself out this pit that was poverty. I didn't want to be in that pit of poverty.
It gave you the fire.
Yeah, exactly. And then I told my teacher, when I was in college, I was at one of the top 5 colleges in Leeds, right? I went to a college called Notre Dame. And I was proud of myself for getting there. But one of the challenges was you had to pay to go on these trips when you do like legal studies, to go to the courthouse trips, to go to the different museums, the different places. You'd had to pay for it, and my mom couldn't afford it. I think it was like £200 or something at the time, which was really expensive for her to manage or to be able to afford. She was on benefits like everybody else. She's just like, she didn't have the funds to do it. And I remember the teacher turning around and telling me that I missed 3 out of 4 trips because one of the trips were free. So I went on that one, but she's like, you missed 3 out of 4 trips. And because you missed 3 out of 4 trips, I guess people of your background doesn't necessarily succeed at, in this type of thing. So I didn't know what to do. I cried a little bit, and then I went home. And I was thinking, like, I have to find something else to do because I don't feel like I can go back. I went to the office. I told the office what she said. I found it to be very rude. They didn't do anything about it. I tried to apply for bursary to see if I could use the bursary to pay for these things. They didn't grant me the bursary. My mom couldn't afford it. So I was just like, I need to find something else. Hence why I dropped out and did apprenticeship route. So after a year, I was studying sociology, psychology, law, Spanish, and then and I left it all on the table and went to go work at a estate agency. Not estate agency. The first one was legal practice. It was like it's called a Vertis at the time.
Oh yeah. I think I've heard of them.
Yeah, and I was just reading like statements and making sure it was right, checking stuff like that. I did that for a year, and then I went into the estate agency business. So since that, I've just had this thing with property. Again, I left it, ended up in another network marketing company. Just, I guess, the short-term gratification. You get £30, £40 every time you leveled up and stuff like that. I ended up going to Portugal. I reached a rank of executive team lead. And I was like trying to go for regional team leader and things like that. Ended up on stage in Portugal. I was doing really well at it, but the paychecks, they never matched the level or the ranking that I was at. Again, it's a thing with MLM companies. They promise you the world, and when the paychecks come in, it's not what they said that it would be, but you have to continue pretending like it was what it was, and that was the lifestyle, because it needs to keep motivating other people, because other people are relying on your energy.
Yeah, absolutely.
It wasn't fun. So after that, I just left that and decided to sink my funds into real estate courses. And I saw a real estate course. I went on that one. It cost us maybe the best part of £9,000. And it was in Essex. That's the first one we went to.
Right.
And we learned so much, and we tried to apply it. Again, 10 grand, 10 grand down, because we had to drive to Essex and then book a hotel and then stay over for a week. And it ended up being about 10 grand in total. From there, we ended up with another course because we still needed to learn more, but we didn't have the funds to do the 20 grand markup or upsell that they was going to do. So we did a bunch of other little courses. In total, we probably spent the best part of a house deposit
I know.
doing courses. Learned a lot. But it was, I don't know, we learned a lot, but the support wasn't there for it.
Right.
And then I just started networking and marketing on our own. Because we learned so much. We had contracts and stuff. We started just going out on our own, me and my partner at this time. And then COVID hit. After we just got our company started up, we made 50k in the first year, which was great. But then after COVID, it kind of slowed down a little bit, so we had to go back to getting regular jobs. I worked in a nursing home, kind of speaking to elderly people, changing bums, mopping up vomit, making cups of tea 50 million times a day in the night.
Wow.
I did shift back to back 12-hour shifts for like 3 days of the week, and I was exhausted. I was sick. I ended up being anemic. And by this time, I had my second kid. So
yeah,
it was one of those things where trial and error, to be fair. So yeah, but then I ended up in real estate, and it's just never left. It's always been one of those things where I always end up back at doing real estate. So I'll go away, do something else, come back, I'm at real estate. Go away, do something else, and somebody else is telling me something else.
Yeah.
Like, I want a house, I want a this, I want a that for real estate. And then one day I went to a networking event and I met this gentleman, and he was like, come to the Institute of Directors, and they've got hotels to sell. So we sat down, we had a conversation. He liked the way I worked. He told me about the inventory that he had, and at this time I'm just rebuilding my network. My birthday came, I was at a networking event. Luckily won a bottle of champagne. Was at another networking event in Mayfair, won a phone. And things just started, like, they say luck coming threes, right? So things just started progressing within these last maybe 5 or 6 months.
Yeah.
Onyxstone Property it's like my baby. I've grown it for the past 7 years now.
Yeah.
And it's been on and off and stop and starting, but it's never closed to a point where I'm just gonna neglect it and abandon it. And I've had other businesses. I've done a hair business, I've had a clothing brand business, I've had experience trying to start other things that just never worked out. But Onyx has just been there for the whole journey, and now I'm here.
And what are you looking for? Like, how can we, or the people watching or listening, how can they support you further with your journey, do you think, right now?
So I'm just trying to be more visible. I'm trying to let people know that Onyxstone Property is here. We're here to stay. I have access to a lot of off-market deals, a lot of deals that are on market, but my things are kind of more direct. So we've got new development deals, and they're direct to developers. And I have a lot of off-market assets, so things that you wouldn't know about or get access to unless you knew who to contact or who to speak to. Being in network marketing for the past, I was 16 when I started, and I've been networking since. I'm 29 now. So I've been networking for the majority, best part of say 10 to 15 years.
Right.
And being in that industry, the thing is, your network just grows. And you'd know this, Victoria, because you've been doing this for years.
20 years more than you have.
It's exactly. So you know that.
I just heard your age and I was like, oh my God, just realised I'm 20 years older. Exactly. That's good.
But you build these networks, and people, it's good to kind of like reach back and touch base and stuff, because these friends and these people that you meet along the way, they know your story from since when you were starting to now.
Right. Yeah,
and
absolutely.
It's great to see how things pan out once you really get stuck in to something that you're looking to build. So what I'm looking for people who are interested in off-market deals. You can find me at www.onyxstoneproperty.co.uk. That's where you'll find my contact details. You'll find my phone number. Our website is just at the moment just a website. It doesn't detail anything of inventory wise. It's kind of more like a placeholder. But if you do want to contact me, my phone number is on there via WhatsApp. You can message me and reach out. But I'm just looking for, I guess, investors who are looking for the right kind of deals and want to work with the right kind of people.
Well, you're very experienced and you're still young and beautiful as well. So, you know, even if it all doesn't work out, she could be a model, couldn't she? Yeah, let's be honest. So we've had that conversation earlier. Anyway, darling, it's been lovely to chat to you.
Yes.
You've got a very inspirational story.
Thank you so much.
And I hope that people listening or watching this will resonate and, you know, get in touch with you, because, you know, you are a very special person and lovely to work with. So, Afrisha, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.